My name is Rhoda Aglago. Thanks for joining me on Love, Forgive, Live podcast. I have my guest here, Amir Siddiqui. I call it one of my brothers because his survival instinct is amazing. And I can't wait for him to dig into his story. Now, the fact of his journey, he coined it the happiness journey or project. But here it is. We've all struggled with depression, anxiety, and fear. Lord knows. If you've never experienced that, wow. I like to know, I like to know what rock you've been living under. Yes, because this planet is full of that. And that is part of our task to navigate that and get through it. So speak more about yourself. I think I've done enough introduction, but say more because I'm excited when I talk to you and recognize the journey that you were going on and how powerful that was. My breath was taken away because so many of our brothers and sisters struggle with the same thing, but unfortunately, a lot of them lose the battle. So take it away.
First of all, thank you for your kind introduction. I
Oh, you're
appreciate that, and
welcome.
thanks for having me on your podcast show. So
No
let's
problem.
so let's get to it. Uh,
Yes.
I have physical, mental, emotional ailment since childhood.
Wow.
I I experience fear, anger, resentment, bitterness, jealousy, envy, all those negative emotion on a predominant basis.
Wow.
And as sick mind leads to sick body and sick body leads to sick mind, I
Yes.
also developed some physical ailments such as constipation,
Mhm.
uh, sleep issues, uh, you name it.
Yes.
And this sick body and sick mind wreak havoc on all parts of my life. From
Mm.
from social, see, everything is connected. So from social life to work life to personal
Yes.
life to sleep,
Wow.
it's all connected. Uh, and
Yes.
and I don't get me wrong. I did the best I could. I took almost every medicine you can think of, such
Of
as
course. Because
such as
you want an answer.
that's correct. So such as Abilify, Paxil, Depacort, Risperdal, Lithium, Xanax, Zoloft. Uh, I can just go on, but but none of medicine seemed to help me. I maybe
Yes.
they gave me couple days high. I feel good. They make good feel good. I mean, chemical in my mind. But then after 3 4 days a week, I get back to again anger, all those things. Because
Wow.
it's not natural. Uh, I mean, it's okay to take short term but not a long term. So,
Yes.
and also I receive around 55 session of counseling and cognitive behavior therapy.
Hmm.
Guess what, he didn't seem to help me too. Now I didn't know at that time, I know now. uh,
Yes.
co- Cognitive behavior therapy is great, don't get me wrong,
Uh-huh.
but it does not deal with the issues lies deep in subconscious mind. Like
Yes.
I went through complex trauma, and that's how I got negative programming. And I
Hmm.
have a both genetic and environmental in my family, because
Hmm.
my parents were unhappy, uh,
Hmm.
and some sickness but never diagnosed. So that's how my life was. And and
Wow.
and so, like suicide, the way I see it, is like lack of hope. So,
Yes.
the way I see, if you're living in a shitty apartment, if you are broke, if you
Hmm.
are dead sick, but if you have a small hope, it will get better. I don't think you will think about committing suicide.
Hmm.
But when you lose hope, then you say, Why the hell I wanna live a miserable life day by day by day? Yeah, that's how I see. And I even wanted to just kill myself. I bought even a gun from market, a illegal gun,
Wow.
illegal gun, and just wanted to shoot myself. But I was waiting for a moment when I get really angry, and when gun was loaded, just boom, shoot myself, and be over with it. That is how
Wow.
I felt. Now I don't know how
Thank God you're here.
and I don't know how life works, but I didn't have much money, so I was used to live in a shanty house, and police came searching for different guy, they searched my house, and they took away my gun. So the
Oh,
last, yeah,
wow.
so the last hope I have to get rid of miserable life gone away. You see,
They were
I,
sent there to stop you.
so there you have it. So and my fear was not uh, losing a life. No, my fear was, what if I tried to commit suicide and I fail? You see, I fail,
Oh,
because then I will be more
fear of
miserable. Maybe
failure.
fear of failure in by just being a more sick, or uh, living a painful life, or disabled, things like that. So I
Yes.
wanted to shoot myself in my brain and done. But my last hope was taken away.
Mm-hmm.
So now it went on and on till 2015, and that's the time, June 15, 2015, when my healing, happiness, and health journey started. That was the moment.
Wow.
And I tell you how it started. It
Mm-hmm.
just now, again, funny how life works. So I got married, and I knew I could not support my family on the income I was making, which
Mm-hmm.
was meager. So I wanted to improve my income. You see, I didn't want to improve myself, just my income.
Your income.
So, so I, so I enrolled into Bob Proctor's 1 year program
Mm-hmm.
to improve my mindset, so I would be
Mm-hmm.
able to make more money and support
Mm-hmm.
my family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me just give you small background. I watched Secret many times,
Uh-huh.
and I love the Secret,
Uh-huh.
and that's how I found Bob Proctor, John Azaraf, Mary
Uh-huh.
Morrissey, Ibrahim Hicks, all those. So
Uh-huh.
I was just searching, and I got the hunch, and I just joined Bob Proctor's coaching, and the
Mm-hmm.
1 year coaching stopped, but still I was unhappy, miserable, and broke.
Mm-hmm.
But and here's the but part. I acquired understanding that I
Yes.
that's the key part. A small
Yes.
piece,
The
not
understanding.
understanding that I could create my life. I am the creator. And
Yes.
from that understanding, I did whatever it took. I I participated in a week long Hoffman retreat. It's an inner child program for a week long. You go there. I went through to acupuncture. I already did cognitive behavioral therapy. I tried supplement, healthy diet full of protein, fat,
Yes.
and fiber. I exercise. I did Reiki, energy healing. Uh,
Yes.
I did hypnotherapy, and I did EMDR therapy. So
Oh,
I
good.
did many things.
Yes.
Now that's why I call healing and happiness is the journey. Now
Yes.
it may not be journey for you, depending how you were born, how you were programmed, but it
Mm-hmm.
was for me a journey. And I think it's the journey because the way I see life is dynamic. Life is not static. It's keep moving. You keep, thing happens. You may
Yes.
get divorced, you may lose your job, you may get an accident. So it's a journey. But now EMDR and hypnotherapy does deal with subconscious mind issues. So they did help me. Uh,
Mm, good.
but anyhow, October of uh, 2022, I got almost healed, and I say but almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to share my experiences, what I learned with everybody else, because
Good.
I believe it can benefit. So I wrote and published the book. So here I am. I know I went on and on, but
No, 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 no.
but
I want to
but
hear that
but
because it is a journey. And this journey, you've touched on a very important point, that you had an understanding, because the understanding is the perception. When you are in that darkness, in that mess of trying to figure out, that was actually your spirit saying, we came here for more. There's more. There's more. I know everything around you looks like this, but it's an opportunity for you to create. That's why I strongly believe that, as awful as the toxic stuff that we are facing and seeing feels, we take the time, if we just have that sliver of a moment that seeps in and said, there could be more, there could be more. It literally is that whisper within you that begins to cultivate itself and tell you, if you just start scratching this a little longer, you will notice how big this is. You notice the strength you have within you. You will notice that you're given an opportunity to create. If you don't like it, change it. But strangest thing is, when we are in that state, unfortunately, our ego takes a hold of that and begins to cycle that over and over and over to diminish us and make us feel even more little. And when we feel more little, of course, hope become loss. So you are exactly right. It is a journey. And just when you think you've got it, another one comes up. So please tell us more about how you started writing this book, this memoir.
so I am a book reader myself.
Mm-hmm.
I read many books on self development, on healthy diet, all those modalities to heal
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Good.
Now, what I found, those books either talk about mindset, how to improve your belief, which will create your reality, your thinking, uh, you know, your habit, or they talk about healthy diet, how to
Yes.
eat healthy diet, how to nourish your body, all
Yes.
this. And all those is good. But for somebody who's in a mess, such as I was, it's good to have a book that can talk about all those different uh, components of health, like
Yes.
body. Sure, if you exercise, you go in nature, you eat healthy diet, it will nourish you and makes you feel good. And of
Yeah.
course, it's about belief, mindset, thought, your programming, and also connecting to nature,
Mm-hmm.
social connection. So different component, and I did not find those component in any book.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, if somebody is struggling, to give them a whole component, and it will make the journey easier.
You're very correct.
So for example, if I had the book I wrote myself, let's say
Uh-huh.
9 years earlier, it would
Uh-huh.
help me. It would have
Yes.
helped me. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the thought. So I said, sure, I did not have that book to help me, but I can write this book for somebody else.
Yes.
So that was the one reason. And second, I wrote in a book two different ways. So in one way, it's inspirational. I shared
Mm-hmm.
my experiences, what I went through, and how I was, to inspire somebody. And
Yes.
I always say inspiration is good, but inspiration without action is mere entertainment. You
Yes.
have to have plan of action or action. So I also shared resources, modalities, therapies that I use successfully to create my life. So basically, this book has my experiences, which makes
Yes.
them a memoir, but
Yes.
also modalities, therapies, resources, which gives them a
Mm-hmm.
self-help book. So it's like a hybrid book, combination of memoir and self-help book,
Yes.
combining all component of health, connecting with nature, healthy diet,
Hmm.
exercise,
Hmm.
uh, mindset, and all those, and all the thought process I went
Wonderful.
through.
I love that idea that you took something based on what you felt you didn't have, and the journey that you took to discover these things in order to help you become the healed and healing, because we're never done with the healing. Just when we think we're done with a certain level of healing, something else comes around and we're like, really? I thought I was done. We're never done. I
Yeah,
always say, if you say you're done, show me your lot. Show me your plot where the person is buried,
yeah.
because as long as we have breath in us, there's always something to work on. There's always something to be healing. There's always something coming at us. And you recognize what was not available to you. And I love the fact that you sought out, even though you went through that struggle, you didn't say, well, I went through it. Everybody has to figure it out on their own. Yeah, there. Believe me, when I became fully aware of that mentality, and there are people in our world that
Yeah.
think this way, and I'm like, what? Why? But yeah, there are people like that. So I applaud you for recognizing I didn't have. Now that I've kind of figured this out, and at least started this journey and become a more healed being, you were like, I don't want anybody to suffer the way I did. So I want to provide this. Please, this, I'm amazed because the fact of how many people in our world that don't care, I'm amazed by that too. But for you to do this, thank you. Because I always believe, and I say this always, your story, your journey is an answered prayer to somebody out there. We are not looking for the fact that 10 people will say, oh, yes, I got it. You're looking to go with one, and that one begin to spread, because we want to stand in a room and hear somebody say, and I'm sure you've experienced this. When I have someone come to me and said, I learned something. I learned this has improved my relationship with my children. This has improved my relationship with my parents. When I get one person step up and tell me that, it still does something to me today, because immediately you recognize, okay, this journey is not just my own alone. I have brothers and sisters behind me trying to follow through the steps that I learned. When you experience that, what is the first thing that comes in your mind?
As you said, that the journey is not my journey, because everything is connected, and most of the time we live through our senses: see,
Yes,
smell, hear, taste, touch. And we
yes,
were not taught how to live with our higher faculties like perception, intuition, imagination, reason, will, all those. So we don't see that. We only see something in a material form, something we can touch, something we can see, something we
yes,
can hear. uh,
yes.
but don't get me wrong, I was like that for a long, long time. But once you see that thought create your reality, and things that are visible, their cause effect is invisible. Once you realize, it's not easy. It's simple but not easy. But
Yes.
once you do, then you will realize that everything is connected.
Hmm.
And then and then uh, you wanted to contribute, and what's not there.
Yes.
So that's how human has been evolving for thousands of years. So that's
Yes.
how I see.
I love that. You wanted to contribute to the human project or the humanity, because as you figure it out, like I said, somebody's waiting, somebody's crying, somebody's asking, is there anything beyond this? And the moment you start recognizing that, and then you found out that you want to contribute, what did that do to your heart?
Well, it opens up my heart uh, to begin with, and that's your decision. But it took me almost a year to write the book. So
Wow.
so it's not because I wanted to make. I hired the best content editor, copy editor, proofread, designer, all those. And I really work hard all year. I wanted to make the best content available so somebody can see and hold and just, it impacts their life. So that's what I tried. But yeah, to your question, it opens up my heart. But 1 year is I did not expect it has to go through so much work. So writing a book,
Surprise.
yeah, I was surprised. I was, but then I couldn't go back, so I had to keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. But yes,
Yes.
lots of work. It's a lots of
Yes.
work. You may
Yes.
read a book in couple hours, but believe me, it won't take to write a couple hours. Not even couple months. Whole year.
Yes. Yes. No, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, and one thing for sure, you touched on something. You didn't even have any idea how long it would take. You thought, oh, I'm just going to write it, just get an editor, and that's it.
Yeah,
But then you got into it. You realize, oh my goodness, this is painstakingly long and tedious because now you have to bring somebody in, bring that somebody in. You're like, meanwhile, when someone picks up that book, they read it for a couple of hours, as you said, they're done with it. You took an entire year.
that's correct.
And it's so strange. If you had known that's how tedious it would have been, would you have done it? Would you have written it?
I might not have. I might have
Yes.
thought about it many times. That's my honest answer because
Yes. I agree. I agree. You're right. Because, yes, the tediousness of, and then, of course, was it difficult for you tapping into that emotion again? Now that you've healed from that, now you have to go back into those memories
hmm
and recall that. What did that do to you?
yeah, my past comes alive sometimes. I had to get some emotional, upheaval, all those, and I have to invest lots of money to get the best professionals. So it's a huge price I pay, financially, emotionally, mentally. I don't know. So I didn't expect that, as I said.
No, I know I get it because I'm writing one myself, and whilst I was doing it, I was surprised because, oh my goodness, it's a lot. And I kept thinking, well, I thought I'm just gonna write. Somebody's just gonna edit to make sure the grammar and the spellings are right, and that's it. What is all this? Oh, it's a lot. But one thing for sure, tapping into the emotions to remember to write that. I was shocked because there was a memory I thought I had healed from and forgiven. Here, as I was writing it, all of a sudden, I started having severe anxiety. Yes, then panic. I couldn't breathe. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I don't understand this. And I wasn't understanding at the time. Believe me, being a mental health professional, we also have issues. And I think I'll be delusional to say, oh, like I'm always perfect. Mm-mm. And when stuff came up, I kept shushing it away and shushing it away. And I was like, what is it? And then I remember the panic was so bad, my hands felt strange. I stood up and I realized I was very uneasy. I said, okay, let me lay down. Still uneasy. Then I tried to sit. I was not comfortable. Then I said, okay, what is happening to my breathing? It's too shallow. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? My head felt complete mental fog. So I go like, what? Then I realized something within me said, what were you doing before it happened? And I kept thinking, I'm just writing. I've written before. I've been writing for a while now. What is this? Then it dawned on me. The actual parts that I'm writing about, that trauma was being revisited again. And it became gay, like completely opened. Then I was like, does this mean I'm still not, does this mean I still have emotional connection to that? What is it? When that happened to you, how did you process that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, book writing a book is also sort of, in a way, a healing, because you go
Yes.
through all and you understand a lot, you heal a lot too. But yeah, so the good thing was I always love nature, and I found
Mm-hmm.
out in my journey more than other that this is the essence of who I am. So
Yes.
my purpose is like sharing my understanding with others from the peacefulness I find in nature. So, having said that, I wrote this book literally with piece of paper and pen in outside, fall and spring anyway, fall, spring. So I was outside writing in the tree in a book, and then come out in home, and then I put it on and draft in my computer. So what it does, uh, that's how I process being in nature and being and doing meditation, two things. So
Good.
that is how I process.
Good.
I wrote parts of my book outside under the tree, so that helps a lot.
That's wonderful. Yeah, what I did was um I I went straight into prayers, and then after praying, then I meditated. And after the meditation, then I literally do some tapping. And it's the usual, tapping is a emotional focus type of therapy. I'm sure you heard of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I
So I did some tapping within my on myself. Then I was able to observe that emotion, and that emotion that was attached to the trauma, and then recognize that presently I am safe. Presently, there is no trauma happening. It's just a passing memory. And then I was able to release that and said, it's okay. We can get through this. We can keep going. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And for me, that was the one thing. It brought me down before I could go out, because if I had gone outside, I would have been a mess. I love nature, but if I had taken that stuff outside, somebody would see me crying and then looking confused. So for me, I worked in bring it down, process this, know what it is. Okay, now I can go outside. But it's yours is no, you needed to do that outside. You needed to be present with nature. I get, for me, the nature was like, I like to walk into it after the calm. After that I've calmed down, I was like, I go there to collect more energy, more for myself, because I feel like being indoors and doing that, I give so much just to process that. And when I'm exhausted like that, I'm like, yeah, I need to be outside. And it's so strange because, and I do this sometimes. I'll see a tree and then I feel compelled to go and touch that tree. And I will touch. And I remember my daughter watched me one day and I hugged the tree. And she was like, Mom, are you hugging a tree? And I was like, yes, it needs love too. And it knows that I need it. So we are both giving each other. And she's like, yeah, Mom, don't do that around my friends. She said, and I was like, what does your friends have? She said, don't do that around my friends. But yes, I nature is so powerful, and it gives you this level of peace.
it does.
It does. And believe me, anyone who is not a nature lover, I would say take the time to process that. And learn. Now, one thing I'm that's buzzing in my head is this. When you had the turning point into this journey and you recognize that it was turning to where you wanted to be, where you've envisioned yourself to be, but didn't know how to get there. Now that you're there and then it's in that process, what was happening with the people around you? How did they recognize? What was going on?
Okay, so that is a great question. So since I've been to trauma and so many mental, physical, emotional, and of course financial issues,
Yes.
been through failure. So I did not have much of a social life to
Mm-hmm.
begin with. So I meet people, but I don't get connected a whole lot socially. That's one thing. And second thing is my parents, my siblings, they are not into personal growth. They're
Mm-hmm.
just like, on normal people taking a pill if something happens, just 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 going through that. So
Yes.
they never understand my journey. And
Yes.
believe it or not, they know I wrote and published book, but they never looked or read even a part of my book yet. So
Yeah.
and I expected that. So I did not have any frustration because I knew how they are. It's nothing against me. It
Yeah. Yeah.
just, yeah, if my book become bestseller, now that's different. Now that gives me, okay, so that's the effect. They go with the effect. If it become bestseller, they would have said sure, did something great, and they would pay more attention. But since it did not create the effect, I say the effect, the most people want to go with, they did not uh, pay any attention. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my answer. So I did not get support in that. But in my journey, I got many people, I would say 8 or 9 people. I go through Reiki or hypnotherapy, personal development course, and all those things. So from there, I got people who are in the same mindset I am. And
Yes.
yes, so that's, so I'm not to give you less. So they gave me the support
Yes.
they could. So
Yes.
that's
I
where I am.
love that. I love that. That's the point. I don't remember which episode of the podcast I was speaking about. Do you anyways, regardless of what anybody's saying, regardless of anyone's belief system around you, do you, because this is your journey. It has nothing to do with them. This is yours. You have to forge ahead because this is part of your purpose to being here. All the stuff you've been through was to prepare you for this moment, for you to begin to touch your brothers and sisters and show them that there's another way. They don't have to suffer alone. And the strangest thing is, our immediate family sometimes don't understand because you have to understand one thing. They knew you in the unhealed self. Because they knew you in the unhealed self, their perception of you stays that way. They begin to solidify that and keep it as this is you. So now, when the changed self, this growth self, this healed self, and it's still healing, they see, they're like, yeah, right, you get back there again. And then you're like, no, 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 it's different this time. They're like, mm-hmm. And the strangest thing is, no matter what we do, our immediate family and even some relatives may never see you as you are evolving. Because if they have to see you as you're evolving, it means they will have to change their perception of you and evolve with you. Even though that's just a mental shift, it is one of the most difficult things for people to do. And sometimes it blows my mind. I'm like, wait, it takes nothing more than just a shift in your mind to say, it was like this. It's not like that anymore. Okay, show me who you are now. Okay, I worked with that. But we don't do that. Majority will see you. And then sometimes you kind of wonder, they only see me as the little brother who is always upset. Even though you may not be upset, you walk in and you're like, "Hey, hi." They're like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with you?" Nothing. I'm happy. Yeah, right. You're never happy. No, I'm seriously, I'm happy. I'm just glad to see you. You're never glad to see me. You always argue. I'm not arguing. And if you notice what started happening is that because they have a perception of you from the beginning, they still hold that dear to their heart. When they see you, they want to project that on you still. And when you come with your new self, they're like, no, I'm not down with this. I want that back because that's what I'm used to dealing with. And that's my perception of you. So I want you to continue. When that happened, how do you make sense of it?
They don't have their evolved perceptive faculty, but I do. So they may not see me what I become, but I sure can see where they are. It's just that simple. Because in my development, like I said, I develop into intuitive faculty, perceptive
Mm-hmm.
faculty,
Mm-hmm.
imaginative faculty,
Mm-hmm.
all those six higher faculties. So they may not see, but I can. So doesn't have,
Yes.
we both don't have to have this perception. I do, and it's enough. So
Yes. Because the one that counts is who?
me,
You.
yes.
And it's beautiful. I love that. As you're still working on this journey and recognizing your peace, what was some of the regrets that started coming up for you?
Yeah, so as I said in my journey, I use so many modalities, therapies, all those, and I done with one, and I got some benefit. I don't know where to go. Then I got introduced some different thing and different thing. Uh, Now I know much more effective modalities. I wish I knew this earlier, so I could have
Mm.
healed earlier. I didn't know at that time. So just like you drive on a car and you see only like night, you only see maybe a mile or maybe 100 feet and then 100 feet. I wish I knew before so I could have make my journey much faster. But I
Mm-hmm.
guess it was not meant to be faster. So
No.
it showed up one by one. And but now
Yes.
I know I didn't know at that time. But that's my regret. I mean I can understand why, but yeah, and also other regret is why I started so late, in my life. I wish I'd done earlier. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I still have this regret, why so much wasted time. I wish I had this awareness of this growth journey started earlier.
Yeah,
So
of course, of course.
these two regrets are
Mm-hmm.
not as strong as they were before, but
Mm.
but but they are lurking. They are, you know. So
Well,
that
I'm glad you're recognizing that it's lessening its hold on you and you're beginning to make peace with that. And that's the most powerful part. When you start recognizing, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. Oh my goodness. And then you recognize that, well, it is what it is what I went through. Maybe it wasn't meant to be that quick, and which is true. We cannot jump from one state to the next without processing it, feeling it, recognizing it, and then beginning to say, oh, okay, I get it. Okay, now I can move on to the next one. The only thing is that it comes, and of course, a lot of it comes with age. A lot of it comes with our own perception of ourselves and seeing how much we can grow, because that hope is the potential to see how much you can grow. My question is, when you started finding out that the joy, the peace, and the love and the forgiveness It's actually within you, and you are the captain of this ship, this body. What did that do to you?
It gives me sense of empowerment. It
Mm,
gives me sense of fulfillment. Uh,
yes,
it gives me understanding. So
I love that. I love that because empowerment is very important because empowerment puts your life in your hands.
yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, and makes you recognize I actually can do something about this. I'm not just a puppet on a string and something is just yanking me all around. I can actually have a proactive part in my life. So, share with us the first thing you did to start becoming the captain of your own ship.
The first thing I did, as I mentioned earlier, I enrolled in a 1 year long Bob Porter's program. And in this program, as I said, I got small understanding, not effect in my life, but small understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And I read many, many books, as I said, like Psycho-Cybernetics from Maxwell Maltz, The Power of Subconscious Mind,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Joseph Murphy, uh, uh, Working with the Law, Raymond Hollowell, and many other books.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I read them again and again and again. It's not just one time.
Mm-hmm.
And reading these books again and again impress on your conscious mind, which impress your
Yes.
subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because subconscious mind, you have majority of stuff, your habit, your trauma, your beliefs, all lies in subconscious mind.
Yeah.
It's not easy to impress. That is how I impress. uh, Start reading books, and it takes focus, it takes uh, desire, it takes discipline. But
Mm-hmm.
reading a books is what I started in
I
my
love
journey.
that. I love that. And that's the most important thing because once you do that, it becomes a whole new thing. You kind of feel like your your brain is almost wired differently after that, and you start seeing more. Now, Mike, I'm gonna ask you this question: as you're going on and recognizing part of your purpose now
Hmm.
is to give this tool to everybody. What keeps you at night when you start thinking about the gravity and the enormity of all this? What part of that keeps you up at night?
uh, could you rephrase the question so
Sure.
I can understand better?
When you understand the journey and then your purpose now, what
Hmm.
you have to do for humanity, what part of all that keeps you worried, if there is any, about the level of impact you feel you want to make in this world?
So here's what I understand. I don't have any worry. Now, I'm gonna try to make as impact as I could possibly can.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do my best, and then of course I wanted to make as much impact, and I have three different platform I choose. Of
Good.
one is the book, and I would write a book again, maybe next 3 4 years. So
Hmm.
because book is inexpensive and powerful, so that's
Yes.
one platform. Second is delivering a speech. So I joined Toastmaster. I'm start delivering a speech. That's second, and third is becoming a life coach, and it's because uh, I believe I went through so many experiences, so many things that even doctors and health professionals and therapists don't have, then I could help them better.
Yes.
So these three are platform. My conversation, my topic is same about
Hmm.
emotional health,
Hmm.
mental health,
Hmm.
physical health,
Hmm.
uh, and how to grow, heal, be happy, all those. And these
Yeah.
three platform I'm gonna work. I don't know how much impact I'm going to make, but
Uh-huh.
I don't have any worry though. So I'll do whatever I can.
Good job. I love that. And then, first, before I ask you the last question, how would our audience get in touch with you? Is somebody saying, I need to hear what he has to say. I need to talk to him. Where do we get the book, and what is the title of the book?
Sure. Before I answer this question, can I just comment on your name? Love, forgive, and live. So
Yeah.
I'm just dying to do. So these are three small words and look pretty simple, but believe me, it's not easy to do. Love,
Yes.
for example, love. We always say, "I love you, I love you," but to love, you have to love yourself first, and it's not easy with all your imperfection, all your flaws.
Yes.
Forgive, it's not even easy to somebody hurt you, you wanted to hurt back.
Yes.
And live is also not easy, because most people, I believe, they
Yes.
exist. They don't live. They uh, just go on their job, do their thing. Oh, let me get the job. Let me do education. Let me just basically existing. So
Yes.
living, forgiving, and loving. These three words I wanted to comment on that. So when I wanted to be your host, so I see this word. They're not easy, but it's a good target. One
Yes.
should strive that. Now, back to your question. Uh,
Thank you. Yes,
uh,
no, those were powerful. You're right. They are very powerful words. And I kid you not, I've said it on a podcast over and over. That came to me in a dream. And it was told to me in a dream. I had um, a being, and this being, in it was just light. And this being was speaking to me that humanity is working too hard. We need to focus on these three words and recognize that we are loved, and to love ourselves. And so you picked it up right away. So that's why it became the title and the name of this podcast, because when it came to me in a dream, it was 2011, and I wrote it down, and I was like, huh, really? Wow. And I was taken aback by then, and I wrote it in my dream journal. And so when I decided to do this, I was like, that's it. Because I was struggling to try and find a name for it, and this became it. So thank you. Now, yes, I'll please deliver your question, your answer.
so everything I do is in my website, and my website name is simple, just like my book, from suicidal to serene.com. Exact one word, from suicidal to serene.com.
Serene.com.
And it has all the podcasts I have appeared and they've been aired. I did some blogs, 7 or 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They are there. It also has a 2-page guide, like people can take some steps, two or three steps, and
Mm-hmm.
start improving their life right away if they wanted
Yes.
to. And
Mm-hmm.
that guide is not included in my book. I created this guide or lead magnet after I wrote the book, so everything is in there, including my bio.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And then the last question I will ask you. I know we all have things to do, so I don't want to keep you for too long. We could talk forever, and because like I said, when I spoke to you, I was like, oh my goodness, you are definitely a brother, because we honestly, when we figure out this journey, we are definitely brother and sister, because it's a tough journey. It's a very, very tough journey. I think I started mine at 19, and I started really getting my aha moment um, at um, probably 4 or 5 years ago, when I finally was like, oh, now I get it. Because at 19, I kid you not, and I know I haven't said that on air, but at 19, I was in a boarding school, and I don't know what was happening, but my stuff was coming up. my traumas and everything was coming up, and I was like, I'm tired. And I remember I had chloroquine because I was in Ghana visiting family and going to the school. And I took a bottle of chloroquine, which is an anti-malaria medication. I took the whole bottle because I was done. I was like, I'm done. I
Yeah.
don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to deal with this. It's exhausting. I'm done. And then I thought, I remember I told my best friend, I said, if you dare tell anyone that I took this, I'll come back. I was so cruel. I said, I'll come back and haunt her for life. And so she believed me that she wouldn't tell. So I thought I was doing, just ending everything and just be done. Only to know at 3 o'clock, no, 2 a.m., I heard a clear voice. You're not done yet, and I'm not done with you. And immediately after that, I just started feeling nauseous and I emptied everything in my system. So by the time the dorm, everybody would wake up, I was done getting everything out of my system, and I was beginning to
Man.
hallucinate. And then at the point they called the school nurse and she came and she was asking me, what did I ingest? And I told her, I confessed it. And then she said, so you were trying to kill yourself? And I was like, yes. And then she's like, what did you do? And I told her, and she said, did you throw up? And I was like, yes. She said, how many times? And I said, I can't even count. She said, can you get up? And I said, I'm too weak. And so they were like, we have to get, everybody's screaming, we need to get her to the hospital. We need to get her. And then she's like, whatever they will do for her in the hospital is already done. And they were like, what do you mean? She said, in the hospital, they would have pumped her stomach and then she would have to, throw up everything. But she's already done it. And they were like, well, how? And then at the point, I was like, I just heard a voice telling me that I'm not done with you. And I started throwing up. And then at that point,
Yeah.
she said, all I need to give her some fluids to bring her electrolytes up and she'll be fine. And I did that for 2-3 days and everything was fine. So at that point, I remember in the school that which was being run by nuns, and then they called me in and they asked me, they said, we need to talk. What was going on in your head? And I was like, I was just exhausted and tired. And they were like, well, what was making you tired? And I was like, all of this. Life is too much. So they were laughing at me. And then
Yes.
back home in Ghana, they don't take mental health seriously.
Yes.
Well, at the time, from what I was experiencing, now is because people are evolving also. So now they're beginning to pay attention to it and realize that it's a real thing, and it's not just an imagination of a child or someone who is overactive. So, but at that time, they were all laughing at me. And then some of my friends would get mad at me and yelled at me. And I was like, why would everybody? I just want people to love me. Why don't you? And they were like, you want what? So they just went off on me. And it was like the hard love, I don't even know what to call it. And that was I experienced. And then I think 5 years ago, my life started becoming full in a sense where I started recognizing I had more to live for. And I
Man.
didn't need
Yes.
to always keep wishing I wasn't here, but to embrace this and say it's okay. So that was my journey. So when I was talking to you, and I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, there's a lot of us out there who are searching for this truth, and you found it. So I'm really glad. Now, the last question is this: knowing what you know now, and if you had a chance to give your younger self advice, knowledge, and the wisdom you've learned so far, what would that be?
Uh, it's a lot I have to say to my younger self. The point is, learn the power of subconscious mind, learn the power of inner self, because you can develop your skill, you can develop your talent, you can discover your talent, you can get education, but once you develop your inner strength, you touch with yourself, your subconscious mind, then it's become much easier. I wish,
Mm,
I wish I could have
yes,
said, I wish.
that's beautiful. And I love that because that's what I would want the young people, and of course anyone struggling and listening to this, to understand it's not hopeless as long as you're willing to learn something about yourself, as long as you're willing to explore what else could be there. You'll be so much happier because it'll start you on your journey. And that question of what else, what could be, what is the subconscious mind, what is the power of the subconscious mind, how does that help me, what do I have an ability to connect with that? So I'm glad about the way you answer this because that is the start of this healing journey. Well, brother Amir, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and, of course, sharing your journey, your story, and I can't wait for more. Please, eventually, maybe a year from now or two from now, when you've done your next book, come back, share it with us, and I would love to hear more about your journey in this new discovery of yourself, and now you're living. Now you're living. So I want to know about this living because from here on, because you're a reborn being now, you're reborn to live the life of abundance, the life of joy, the life of peace, and of course, the love. And you said it. Once you love yourself, it's powerful. You begin to love the whole world. You can love endlessly without worries of being hurt, being rejected. Because at that point, you realize nobody can really hurt you. So I love that. And thank you. And please, if you want to say anything else, go ahead and share it.
Yeah, one thing I like to share. Of course, I learned so many lessons from experience
Yes.
because I went through so much trauma and all those
Mhm.
things. And we,
Yes.
of course, we learned four ways. We learned through books, study, we learned through experience, we learned through observation, and we learned through our higher self. The problem is the experiences I have were real.
Mm-hmm.
All those trauma,
Yeah.
all those humiliation, all those suffering, and those experiences gave me a belief the world is not a safe place. It's a cruel, it's a
Mm.
cruel place, and
Yes.
every man is for himself, and you have to survive. You have to do those things,
Mm-hmm.
and the belief was so powerful. So
Yes.
all I wanted to share is this: sure, as I said, we can and we should learn from all four sources: study, education, experience, observation, and a higher self. But we have to be careful. Yes, I had the experience that
Yeah.
was real, no
Yeah.
question about that.
Mm-hmm.
But the lesson I learned was not the truth. There's the
That's
truth in
right.
experience. So I wanted to share this one lesson. Of course, I have much more, many more to share. But this program of this time, I wanted to just share my one last uh, experience, and the experience gave me a belief, and belief stayed with me for a long time. So
Yes,
that,
yes, yes, yes. Because that experience you grew up with or started learning and believing was you know, this the schema was being created that the world is a scary place, and had that belief system because you were seeing what you were going through. It was real because you were experiencing it.
that's correct.
And so, how is it for you to be experiencing it? And could you imagine trying to convince yourself this is not real?
That's correct.
Yes, and then somebody coming to you, you know what you're experiencing is not real. It's not real. And meanwhile, you're looking at yourself with bruises. Okay, you haven't eaten. You're looking for food and you can't find it. And somebody's telling you this is not real. Really?
Exactly. Yep, that's my point. Yep,
Yes,
that's my point.
yes. So yes, you because and then my grandma always tells me. She said, if someone is in pain, don't tell them that this too will pass. Rather, tell them how they can heal this pain right now. How can they start making this feel better? Because after they start figuring out how to make this pain or this feeling feel better, then you tell them it will pass. Because when someone is falling and they're on the ground and they don't know how to get up, they need someone to give them a hand. So show them. If they say they can't get up, you say, okay, hold my hand and try and pull yourself up. And that's what it is. So I call your book is the hand holding for
Thank you.
those who are in the pain. Please, thank you very much. And go on, um, get this book, especially those of you who are struggling right now and looking at options to leave this 3D world, this form world, into the formless. Before you decide to do something like that, or even if you're thinking about it, get this book because at least it may not be the manual you're looking for the life, because we all want a manual for life, for coming to this planet. We all wish there would be a manual. There isn't. We have to be the ones to write that manual.
That's correct.
So this manual is written. So go ahead, get what you need from this book, from suicide to serene, living a serene life. It's very important. You can have that. You can live in the life that you're meant to live and live in your purpose, because somebody else is also waiting to hear your story so that they can also jump. So when you take the story from Amir's book, understand it's going to help you then come into life where you can also help others. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And I so appreciate you for coming. May you be blessed with everything you do. And above all, everything you touch, may it be filled with the love that you put within it as it comes back to you, because as we give, so shall it be. Thank you very much. Have an awesome week. And I can, oh, actually, an awesome weekend, because it's the weekend. So
That's correct.
I look forward to hearing back from you for your next book.
Sure. Now, one thing I wanted to say, that you said that you will text me your address or email your address
Yes,
because to read my book, and you said that you do love to read books, correct?
yes, yes. I smell them. I like to take my books and smell them. And believe me, I have a bookshelf and I have books on it. So yes, I certainly will send you that information. Actually, as soon as we're done, I'll text it to you, and then you can have that, and then send me the book, because I want to hold it and then read it. I can think of 2 or 3 people right now that my mind is willing to get the books for, because it's very important. And I hear them going on and on like this. And this is what I do when, because my in my day job, I'm a mental health counselor and therapist. I do refer my clients, and I was like, you know what? Go listen to that. After you listen to it, take notes. Let's talk. So, and so it's very important to me, and I do refer them to go and buy books and then read them, because it's very important. And I have kids as young as 12, 10 years old coming to session to clients as far as end of life. So I have a whole gamut of people, and I made sure they they read books, because books are a great way to start questioning the perception that they hold. And if I'm telling them, sometimes they may not hear me. And if they read a book, it gives them an ability to start re rewiring or restructuring their thoughts. And of course, mindset becomes a big deal in that. So yes, I will definitely send it to you, and I can't wait to have that book and then read it.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
no, no, I wanted to say what else? Please, let's go on.
So I am more than happy to mail you the book.
Hmm.
Now, here's my request. Do you think I can also mail you a check of the price for the book? Now, here's my thing. Uh, Once you read the book and like, uh, if you could buy from Amazon and I can reimburse the price, if you could leave a review. Because the thing is, about first time author, no matter how good the book is, the reviews, especially for Amazon, which is a big market for books, make a huge difference. So
Okay.
that's the only support or important support I can
Mhm.
get. So you don't have to do it right now. So I can send you a book, you read it, and if and only if you think you like it, then I'm happy to send you the price of the book. I mean, check or anything you like, and if you can buy, because Amazon likes to review a verified reviews. So that way, so
Oh,
that's the only thing, if you only like, yeah, because
yes,
I never ask for something, give me a great review. I
yes,
believe in getting what I earn. So if you like, then after next process, that would
yes.
be a great
Well,
help.
please do send it to me, and I'll definitely read it. You don't believe me, when I read something and I like it, I will let you know, and then I'll write. And those who have sent me stuff and I've reviewed them,
Yeah.
um, believe me, Amazon loves my reviews. Actually,
Okay.
almost every person, every business, lawyers, when I give reviews, people keep going like, "Whoa!" When I get products, when I get even for hairdresser, nails, when I give reviews, my reviews go a little. People love my reviews, so please, you don't have to give me the check, anything like that, because I've already made up my mind. I would, because the structure of that book makes sense, especially people that I know who are in the IT world. A structure like that works for them. That I know that they need to read books that would allow them to start processing and then start their journey. And I know people who are engineers, they need something like that because structurally it makes sense to them,
Hmm.
because they're seeing it from that point of view, and it's with structure like that, it makes sense. So in my mind, I know that it'll be a great book. So believe me, send it to me, and then I'll read it, and I will be glad to write a good review, because I I don't mix words when it comes. Of course, you can see I do. I'm a writer and a poet myself, so words comes. Thank goodness, I'm grateful. It comes very easy for me, because when my heart is connected to something, I gush with it and gladly uh speak about it. And I'm sure my friends and family will probably get over, tired of me going about, I think you need to read this. I think they'll probably be like, okay, you're always excited. And I said, yes, because now that I'm living, I am immersed in every experience, because as a citizen of this world and a member of the human race, I am here to experience and gather information. So yes, send it to me.
Thank you.
I'll,
Yeah,
I'll
that
read
is,
it.
yeah, don't get me wrong. The reason I say, because there are some friends that review me at Amazon. The problem was they read from my book, but they did not get from Amazon. And what
Oh,
Amazon does, yeah, they do a verified review and just a review. So suppose if you buy a book from Amazon and you have an account and they say verified, meaning you bought the book. But
oh,
yeah, but
yes.
if you just read the book, you are genuine, but you did not buy from your own account, they don't say verified. So that's the
Oh,
difference. Yeah. So if you go
that
all the
makes sense.
yeah, so if you see reviews, verified reviews and just reviews. So verified reviews carry much more weight, and to have verified review, you have to buy book from Amazon, and that's what I
Yes.
meant, you know. So
Yes. Okay. I'll certainly get it from Amazon, and also, that gives me yeah, that makes sense. Maybe that's why, because I have a children's book on Amazon, and I don't hear anything. So it's good to know I learned something today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And then I can't wait to get my hands on this book. Hopefully by next week, because I will send you the address today, and then I'll be able to read the book and also get it, because the ones that I want to get for people, I'll get them from Amazon and then do the verified review.
thank you so much. And I sent you two copies. So that's fine, you know, it's no big deal, but that would be
Thank you.
great, you know. Review
Oh, thank
goes,
you.
verified reviews go so long, you know. And being a first time author, I just needed, you know. So
Oh, yes, yes. Believe me, you've got that support. Absolutely will get that done. I'm so
thank you.
excited. And like I said, may you be blessed and guided. You know, may divine energy guide you through every endeavor, so that you always know what next step, even though you may not know, but are trusting, and then taking the step, and then recognizing, wow, this is really what I needed. Then the next one, then the next one. So let it be done. I can't wait for you to come back and talk about all the progress and how much, and the coaching and everything that you'll be able to do.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Have an amazing weekend. And
You
of
too.
course, my love to your family, and take care of yourself and them. And of course, always be loving, forgiving, and then live the best life that you can ever imagine.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye
You too.
bye.
Bye.